Hi everybody, it's your favorite professor, Dr. T. I am here to talk about the first part of what I think students need when they are learning how to transition from third grade math all the way to they get to algebra. So the reason why I think algebra is so hard for students is because students are not understanding that there is a direct connection between what they used to do in third through fifth grade and what they're starting to do in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. So I'm going to start with evaluating expressions, evaluating functions especially, and the key differences of why I think students can make a really good jump from previous math that they learned, where it's just numbers, and symbolism, where they're starting to use variables. So why algebra can be so tricky for students? Because they're not making those connections. Algebra has ideas that you really can't touch and you really don't see in everyday life. Also, I don't think that teachers are utilizing ways that they can make things a lot of fun for students. Algebra can seem like it does not connect to real life, and I always hear students say, I'm never going to use this. I think we also wait too long to make those connections from the previous learned math to the algebra. And it can be a huge jump for students to start thinking in an abstract way so that they understand that they're still problem solving the way that they used to. I think that we have to build bridges when we're talking about what students learned before, and again, those connections. Thinking about algebra in ways, or using the previous learned mathematics to talk about input and output. So we put something in and we get something out. That's usually what happens when we do any kind of work. We also want to focus on rules. There are specific rules that you must follow when you are doing algebraic expressions, whether it be pre-algebra in sixth grade or seventh grade. And then some students get an opportunity to be exposed to algebra 1 in the eighth grade or maybe sometimes seventh grade. I think that is such a big brain jump that's how they start getting confused, because we are not making them understand that there are connections to what they previously learned. So what we want to do is build those bridges. So later on in this video, I'm going to show you a full lesson, meaning just computation with evaluating expressions. Concentrate maybe on the rules and stick to just one topic, instead of expecting students to understand every single rule in algebra. And then further, those key terms that you must emphasize are evaluating, substituting, input, output, and variables. See how you can gradually go up towards the word variable, because variables are not just letters, they're symbols sometimes, especially when you get to subjects like calculus, Calc 3, differential equations, and especially linear algebra. So having simple, concrete examples for students, like simple addition. So when you're doing simple addition, you could show the input, the rule, and then the output. And then for evaluating a function, you can go to the next level. F of x being equal to something, and then f of that number is the same thing that they did before with simple addition. And then an input-output table. Then we can quickly go to things that make sense when it comes to graphing. So when we're talking about the input and output, students can quickly see how you can square a number and the shape that it makes on a graph. Then they're a lot more ready for when they see it in algebra class. And again, like I said before, visualizing functions. So real life analogies. So what you want to do is you want to connect those abstract concepts to familiar experiences. Just be creative, think of something. And you can do this as parents. You don't necessarily have to be a teacher to do that. Most people can do simple addition. If you can do simple addition, you can evaluate a function. And then have students create their own input-output tables. Have them think of things that where you are required to put something in and what you get out. So for instance, starting up a car, opening up a door, you're putting in a key, You're turning that key and something happens. So you have input, you have output. Sometimes you have feedback. Sometimes it doesn't work. So what do you do in order to make it work? That's where the algebra comes in. And remember to start with something simple and then go from there. And then parents can find themselves relearning algebra and the light bulb goes off. So why understanding evaluating functions is crucial. It takes you to higher order mathematics, higher level of thinking, higher ways of problem solving. And then ultimately what we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do in my classes is build that confidence in students so that they are sure. When I ask questions sometimes in class, they are not sure. They know what they're supposed to do, but they're not 100% sure. We are trying to build that confidence, and it will create a less anxious environment and ultimately have more people saying, I am a math person. So before I do the short lesson on evaluating expressions using CUDA software worksheets, I just want to talk about evaluating expressions and how it gradually can become easier. So for the first example, it's very easy, right? So you just have 3 plus x when x equals 4. So your instruction is to evaluate and substitute the number 4 in for x. And as you can see the solution, you get 7. So this one is still fairly easy. All we're doing is substituting in x equals 3 for x, and we multiply 5 times that x, which is 3, and we add 2, and we end up with 17. Now we have a medium-sized type of problem. So we have an x and a y, so we're substituting 2 in for x and 4 in for y. And we just multiply and add. As I stated before, if you can add, you can do algebra. You can evaluate expressions. Problems with evaluating expressions get a little bit more complicated, but as long as you know your rules, you can do this one too. So you can always pause the video and work it out before you see the answer. This is the kind of joy that confidence brings when you are doing algebra. So try showing your parents what you've learned and what you practiced, and then ask them to practice with you. And I promise you, they will feel confident as well in what you are doing and how you are feeling with any parts of your classes in algebra and mathematics. You will feel strong. Now let's practice. I want to make sure that we are focusing on the word evaluating. We are evaluating expressions. So what I want you to think about is you are replacing whatever variable you get. So whatever the letter is, A through Z, or sometimes it could be a symbol, you're replacing it with the actual number that it says it is assigned to. Okay? So I'm underlining N being equal to 8 and M being equal to 7, and all you do is replace that letter with the number. So 8 to the second power minus 7. And I did have to make some adjustments of how I write the equal sign. So in some, there will be equal signs next to, maybe sometimes below. For the next one, x is equal to 5, so we replace x with 5 and y with 2. And because we have parentheses, we need to follow the rules. All we do is follow simple rules. 5 minus 2 is 3, and that dot represents multiplication, and 8 times 3 is 24. In this next one, I'm going to underline y equals 2, and x being equal to 7. Y and x being next to each other is simple multiplication. So 2 times 7 divided by 2. So we can do it in several ways. We can have 14 divided by 2, Or we can have 2 times 7 divided by 2, and we can factor out the 2's, meaning that they are divided. It is not the same when you add or subtract, so you have to be careful. And we end up with 7. Next, m being equal to 5 and n being equal to 8, we have 5 minus 8, but only the 8 is what you divide 4 into. So be careful. So 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. And just a little variation, I'm just drawing an arrow so that you can see exactly where you put things. It depends on how you like to visualize the actual work that you need to do. Okay? So 6 minus 1 plus 6. And when we just have addition and subtraction, we add or subtract from left to right. So 6 minus 1 is 5, plus 6 is 11. So by now you should have the hang of it, right? Z is equal to 19, and x is 1, so 1 to the third is 1. So 19 plus 1 is equal to 20. As you can see, as you move along, they start to get a little bit more challenging. So plug in 8 for y and 15 for x. You may need a calculator to do 8 times 15, but that's okay. 8 times 15 is 120. And when you add those two together, you get 128. And as you can see next, it looks a little different from the number 7. So you just plug in your 12, you divide by 6, and then you add your 10, take it step by step. 12 divided by 6 is 2, add it to 10, and you end up with 12. And keep in mind that you can pause the video and do the problems ahead of time to see if you get them correct. So next, and just plug in the numbers and simplify. That's all you're doing. Remember that you are evaluating expressions. That's all you are doing. And just keep in mind that they're going to be more challenging each time. So for the next one, you're going to just substitute 3 plus 10 inside the parentheses. And you must do what's in the parentheses first. You're going to simplify. Doable. And then 10 minus 5 plus 2. Now you're only going to divide 2 by 2. Nothing else. So you have to be careful. Those are the rules that you have to remember. So for 2 divided by 2, you're going to get a 1. So I'm kind of simplifying at the same time. All right. And again, just plug in those numbers, substitute, take it step by step. Two multiplied by 5 plus 4 multiplied by 5, 10 plus 20, 4 multiplied by the quantity 9 plus 4 plus 9. So you need to do parentheses first, then you need to multiply, And then if you need a calculator, you can get a calculator and do 4 multiplied by 13, which is 52, plus 9. And then add. Next, you substitute in 4 for P. You square it and divide by 4. And then subtract 3. 16 divided by 4 minus 3. And then you just simplify. So 16 divided by 4 is 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. And now 4 multiplied by 9 divided by 3, and you square that. So 4 multiplied by 3 times 3, because 9 divided by 3 is 3, and then you just multiply. I'm so sure you have the hang of it now. So 4 plus 9 minus 4. There's a couple ways you can do it, but we'll just add from left to right. Three multiplied by 7 plus 3 minus 7. Pause the video and see if you can finish. And now 7 multiplied by 6 divided by 6 plus 10 . Two plus 6 multiplied by 6 minus 2 in parentheses, and you just finish simplifying. One minus 1 squared plus 6 squared equals 0 plus 36. Two multiplied by 4 minus 9 minus 4 multiplied by 2. With parentheses, you have to be careful with these parentheses. So you need to do the inner parentheses first. So 9 minus 8, which is 1. And then you can do the outer parentheses. So 4 minus 9 minus 8, which is 1. And then 2 multiplied by 3. This might look tricky, but it's not. It's just 9 minus 9 in parentheses minus 9 in parentheses minus 1 to the third power. That's all. So 9 minus 9 minus 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. So 9 minus 1. And then lastly, 8 multiplied by 9 minus 9 to the third power plus 2 is equal to 2. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope that I made evaluating expressions a lot simpler for you. If not, let me know what you would like to see in the comments. And don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe, especially share, so that more students and parents can understand how easy it is to evaluate expressions.